Mao Zedong was born on December 26, 1893, in Shaoshan, Hunan Province, a small farming village tucked between misty hills. His father, Mao Yichang, was a prosperous farmer but harsh and disciplined, while his mother, Wen Qimei, was compassionate and deeply religious in Buddhism. The clash of strict authority and spiritual gentleness would shape Mao's outlook for life. As a boy, Mao was drawn to Chinese history, poetry, and the struggles of peasant life. By the time he reached Changsha to study, China was collapsing under the Qing dynasty's corruption and foreign domination. Revolt was in the air, and Mao began to dream of a China reborn. The May 4th movement of 1919 changed everything. Across China, students protested foreign control and demanded modernization. Mao, now working in the library of Peking University, devoured Marxist literature and saw in communism a way to free China's peasants from centuries of oppression. By 1921, he joined a small group of visionaries in founding the Chinese Communist Party in Shanghai. While others focused on urban workers, Mao insisted that real change must come from the countryside, from the millions who toiled in silence. Civil war erupted between Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists and Mao's communists. After brutal purges and failed uprisings, Mao led his forces into the mountains of Jiangxi, where he created the first communist base. Here he developed guerrilla tactics. The enemy advances, we retreat. The enemy camps, we harass. Mao's ideas clashed with Moscow-trained leaders, but his connection with the rural poor gave him strength. He built schools, redistributed land, and used propaganda to win hearts and minds. In 1934, surrounded and nearly destroyed, Mao led 80,000 soldiers on a desperate retreat, the Long March. They trekked over 9,000 kilometers through snow-covered mountains, swamps, and enemy fire. Only a fraction survived, but Mao's endurance transformed him from a regional commander to the uncontested leader of the Communist Party. The Long March became legend, a story of sacrifice, survival, and ideological faith that still defines China's revolutionary mythology. Japan's invasion of China in 1937 forced a temporary alliance between the communists and nationalists. Mao's forces fought guerrilla battles behind enemy lines, gaining popular support for their discipline and fairness. After World War II, civil war resumed. The communists, energized by peasant support and strategic mastery, defeated Chiang Kai-shek's army. On October 1st, 1949, Mao stood atop Tiananmen Gate and declared, "The Chinese people have stood up. The People's Republic of China was born." Mao's early years in power saw radical change. Land reforms redistributed property to peasants, literacy campaigns transformed education, and women were granted new rights. Yet political purges and executions claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953, tested Mao's leadership. China's intervention surprised the world and marked its arrival as a global power. Determined to catch up with the West, Mao launched the Great Leap Forward, an ambitious drive to industrialize through rural communes and backyard furnaces. But poor planning and inflated production reports led to catastrophe. Crops failed, grain was seized for export, and famine swept across China. Historians estimate between 20 and 45 million deaths. The failure shook Mao's prestige and revealed the deadly cost of ideological zeal unchecked by reality. To regain control and preserve revolutionary purity, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution. He called on China's youth to destroy old ideas, old culture, old customs, and old habits. The Red Guards attacked teachers, officials, and even parents. Ancient relics were smashed, intellectuals were humiliated or killed. The nation descended into chaos. Millions suffered, but Mao's image as the great helmsman was immortalized through propaganda, music, and his Little Red Book. As Mao aged, internal power struggles erupted. Yet in 1972, he shocked the world by meeting U.S. President Richard Nixon, a diplomatic breakthrough that began China's re-entry into global politics. Behind the scenes, Mao's health declined and political purges continued. When he died on September 9, 1976, millions wept in Tiananmen Square. The era of Mao was over. After Mao's death, Deng Xiaoping emerged, steering China toward market reforms that lifted hundreds of millions from poverty. Yet Mao's image still looms large. His portrait hangs over Tiananmen Square, and his face adorns every RMB note. In modern China, Mao is both revered and questioned, a symbol of unity and defiance, but also a reminder of ideology gone too far. Historians now debate his legacy. Was he a visionary who built the foundation of modern China, or a dictator whose experiments cost millions of lives? What's certain is this: Mao Zedong's revolution forever altered the course of human history. From peasant boy to supreme leader, Mao Zedong's journey is the story of China's pain, ambition, and rebirth. Love him or fear him, his shadow stretches across a nation that still grapples with his legacy.